Hey there, welcome to episode 75 of Wise Advice. Getting ready for the show here, like we'll always do. We'll hit up Facebook first, check in on you, see how you're doing, see what's going on, see if there's anything special we need to hit before we dive in. So we've got a couple quick little emails that we'll hit, but Katie's out walking probably. But if not, she's here. David's in. Good to see you, David. How are you, sir? Let's see who else pops in. Give you guys a minute to... Hopefully Facebook is notifying you that we're here. That's how this works. So Paula's here. Good to see you, Paula. Hello. Oh, I forgot my cow hat. Let me go grab... You want the cow hat? I'll go get the crowd. I'll be right back. Oops. Looks like we lost the cow hat. So, anyway, it's gone. No worries. All right, so let's see. Elizabeth and Stephen are here. Jane is here. Vicky says hi. Diane says hi. Denise says hi. She's on the treadmill. Christine from Minnesota. Did I pronounce that right? Minnesota. Yvette is here. Jane, I think I got Jane. Catherine. Ruth Ann, good to see you. And I got Jeff and David, so cool. Looks like we're making everybody there. Victoria says, you're making your vision board as you speak to remember your why. When I'm with my future in-laws this weekend and subject to lots of emotional eating. Yeah, I get that for sure. So Katie's not out walking yet. To the youngest... I have to get the youngest from an evening VBS, Vacation Bible School. You're going about an hour. You love summer evenings. Yep. Sandra's here. Hi, Sandra. Denise. Denise, you're on the treadmill now. Keep up. Good work. Good job. Teresa says hi. Kathy says hey. Sheila from Iowa. You betcha. Christine, yeah, you betcha. Terry's hoping for today's podcast, and Kim is here. Jeanette, second weigh-in down 4 pounds. Woo! Nice work. And Catherine says, hey. So got a show ready for you. Got it all worked out a couple of days ago. I'm going to work on that. Playing with the audio. Had some audio issues that I'm not exactly thrilled about. So I'm kind of playing with audio. I tell you what, I'm learning so much about podcasting and audio mixers and audio amplifiers and microphones and stuff I know absolutely nothing about. I spend a little bit of my free time in Google trying to figure out how to do a podcast. I tell you, it's not as easy as it looks. It's not exactly hard, really, but it's not exactly easy either. It's a lot more work than I thought. So Donna, good. I'm glad you had a much better day. So here is what I know, Donna. Barbara says hi. Donna, what I know is this journey is 100% focus. We talked about it. I had a meeting this evening. My Weight Watcher crew, I lead the meeting in Tuesday nights, and they're just a fantastic crew. But one of the things we talked about is this is 100% in the mind. Everything in this journey we do it's not about the food. Right? I mean, there are skinny, healthy people all over the world eating Kit Kats, eating chocolate cake, eating Reese's peanut butter cups. There's absolutely no issue with them doing that. They have a certain ability to control their quantity of that. It doesn't control them. They enjoy it in complete moderation. So what I know and why this is important is because I'll put it in my own words. I don't have the ability to discern how much of that stuff I can eat or not eat. I eat until I'm completely full, and I can overeat on healthy food just as easily as I can overeat on unhealthy food. But the truth of the matter is everything out there can be enjoyed if you're able to do it properly. So skinny, healthy, fit people are able to enjoy it properly. They've figured out a way to work it into their life. I figure out how to make it my entire life, and that's what got me into trouble. So the reason I do this show, and it's the reason that I'm really striving to find a way to do it daily, is because every single day we need that constant reminder. Those of us who are here listening, we need someone every day telling us, hey, don't forget, you don't do that, or be mindful, or remember your why. So that's why I kind of want to keep the show in the daily mindset, to keep your mindset on it daily. So Penny is in from New Jersey. Paula, hey Paula, I had some free time today. I don't know if you guys saw that on Connect. Man, what a crazy, crazy day. I got stuck on the highway in an accident, and I have no idea what the outcome of the accident was, and so hopefully everybody's okay. I truly don't know. But I got on the highway, and after sitting still for about 30 minutes, I shut the car off, and I timed it. The car was off, parked on the highway for 2 hours. And then during that, so I was on the highway for about 3 hours and probably went less than a mile in a 3 hour span of time. And so absolutely frustrating. So that's where I have some free time, Paula, on occasion. Yeah, so Kathleen, that's exactly it. Weight Watchers guides us on the right amount of food. So that's it. Jane says the last 6 days she's gotten blue dots. That's the good news. Yesterday was minus 85, which is also good news. And dinner out, unexpectedly entertaining, new job. Out-of-town visitors tracked and weighing in this week. So, Jane, that is good news, because what the good news is that you know that it's minus 85. So next time this scenario pops up in your head, if you do minus 84, you're winning. You're making progress. So don't worry about it. I have to have Katie says she has to have a defined portion as well. Potlucks kill me because it seems so open-ended, and I cannot have seconds. No, I'm with you. Same. So, Catherine says, right there with you, the discussion about breaking the addiction and working out to eat crap really helped me stay on track today. So good job. Good. And you're feeling really good about your choices today. That's the whole plan. So cool. And then Margaret's in. So hello, Margaret. All right. So what do you think? You ready for the show? You ready to get this done live? Hopefully we won't have any bloopers like we had last night. That was kind of funny. Did you guys see that? It's in the app specifically. I only sent the blooper audio to the app. So if you're not listening on the app, you missed it, or you can catch it, of course, on Facebook Live. So cool. All right, well, let's dive into the show. You ready? First things first, right? There is nothing better than water sometimes. All right. Where am I? Yeah, Kim says she saw the blooper. That was funny. I was in the middle of it. I said, I'm your host, FatDag, and you're listening to Wise Advice, and my weight loss journey failed when I focused on how or why or something, and I totally lost track. So, all right. Let me reset that. I guess the lights work. All right, so got that going. Need a microphone. Boop. Mic check, test 1 2, audio test 1, test 1 2. All right, here we go. I am your host, FatDag, and you're listening to Wise Advice. My weight loss journey failed when I focused on how. It wasn't until I switched my focus to why that I truly transformed myself. Join the show on the web at fatdag.com and follow along on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all at Wise Advice. Send in your comments, your questions, your celebrations, and I'll include them as part of the show. But before we dive in, remember, when you're out of points, stop eating points. Hey, I'm honored to be your wingman as we walk through this journey together because I believe in you. Well, hello. Welcome to episode 75 of Wise Advice. And Want to open the show with just a quick little update. I spent the day on the highway, stopped in traffic. The car was literally turned off for a little over 2 hours. I was on the highway for a total of about 3 hours, and I went maybe a mile. Really frustrating day. Obviously, hopefully, the reason the traffic was snarled, I hope everything turns out for those people okay. But man, it gave me 3 hours to really just sit in the car completely. I had no access to any sort of food whatsoever. I hadn't had breakfast yet. I was hoping to stop and get breakfast on the way to work today. I had already planned for it and it didn't happen. So it kind of got me off track for a little bit today, in a sense where it gave me a lot of points for lunch. So I ended up going and having I had a Jimmy John's sandwich, but I also had a bag of potato chips with it. And that bag of chips was 10 points. I worked it into my day. I'm still on track for the day. I have points left over, as a matter of fact. So it just goes back in to say you can have whatever you want if you work it in. But this day it gave me that opportunity to try something I haven't had in a long time, and I tell you, I don't even miss it. So it'll be a much longer time before I have it again. But the only reason I was able to have it is because I had those extra points that I didn't eat for breakfast, and it wasn't working. But while I was sitting in traffic, I was able to pull up the phone, pull up the laptop, and I made a couple updates to FatDag.com. I got an email from someone letting me know that the navigation of the site from the mobile device is a little difficult. So if you go to FatDag.com from your phone and you scroll to the bottom, you'll now see the navigation menu. Some people had a hard time with the navigation menu. There's 3 little lines at the top. If you click on that, you can navigate the website. But I've also moved those navigation links to the bottom, so you can check that out. So go ahead, check out FatDag.com. The whole reason that website exists is to document my journey for new people who come in who don't know exactly what the struggle that I've gone through. I put it out there. And what I want is I want you to share that website with your brother, your boyfriend, your coworker, whoever needs that little bit of inspiration to say, hey, here's a guy who did it. Here's what he accomplished. He can get it done. And if he can do it, you can do it. I can do it. We all can do it. And so the whole journey's out there. What I want is, it's kind of like everything else. Is like, at this point when I'm at my goal weight, and I post a picture on Connect, unless I put a before photo, someone who's just now starting their journey, they don't see that, they don't see themselves in me, because what they see is they see a complete opposite of what they are, and so therefore they don't understand the process to get there. So again, the website ties that all together. So that's the whole reason for the website. That's why it exists. And so I'll open up the show with a response email from Noah. Noah was on the show last night. Shot me an email today and said, "Hi Mike, I finally got around to hearing the podcast. My phone had died completely and I got my replacement today. I really appreciate the shout out. I'm still really struggling and it's quite aggravating. I keep on having too many I don't give a hoot moments about my weight, and it's obviously not helping me. Granted, I lead a very hectic and busy schedule with 4 kids at home. I'll be in charge of a very large amount of equity at work, studying for the CPA, and trying to get sleep. I just keep on falling off the rails. Like I said, too many moments of I don't give a darn. What do you do when you had those moments?" Noah. Well, Noah, the first thing I do is I really focus on why I'm doing this. Why did I join Weight Watchers in the first place? What led me here? What led you here? You didn't join on accident. You weren't just, all of a sudden surfing the web and saying, I'll try this. This looks kind of cool. This looks kind of fun and interesting. Generally, when we get to the Weight Watcher website or when we get to the meeting room, we were driven there by a strong force, something we don't like about ourselves. And so you've obviously identified a part of it, because that is what got you to get signed up and to get enrolled in the program. Now, every time you have one of those I don't give a hoot moments, you need to pause and say, I actually do give a hoot. I'm concerned about my weight. I'm concerned with it, and I want you to read your why. I've told you before to go write your why down, and I want that's the exact point in your journey when you got to go read it. You read it, you focus on why you're joining, and then that will carry you on. And you make every decision from that moment on based on, is that going to support your reasoning for joining, or is it going to counteract your reasoning for joining? And you got to make that decision. If you make the decision to say, hey, would I rather have this chocolate cake, or would I rather make goal? Would I rather wake up tomorrow morning knowing that I had a piece of chocolate cake, or would I rather wake up in the morning knowing that I resisted it and I'm changing my life and I took control of my life? I'm telling you, when you get to goal, you'll appreciate that. So, keep focused on your why. You're juggling a busy life like many of us do. It can be done with a busy schedule. I promise you that. Don't fall into the excuses of that. So if you want this, it's there to be taken. If you don't want it, I get that too. I get that sometimes we don't give a hoot. And if you truly don't give a hoot, then that would be the point to disenroll. That would be the point to say, you know what, I'm done. And you take a step back. But I don't see you doing that. Because your why will bring you back to a new start date if you do that. So I'm telling you, go after it. You have the ability to get it done. I know you do. So thanks for your email. Danielle writes in, and she says, "Hello, Slim Dag. As you said, let me back up. As you and many others report, I've been on the Weight Watcher journey more than once. I do know, however, that this time is not just about reaching goal, but for the rest of my life. And this time around, I'm not just okay with that. I'm actually excited about it. I started my final journey in March of 2016. I was a Weight Watcher rock star. I didn't have a single week without a loss. I didn't have a single week without a loss. By the start of December last year, I was down 65 pounds, which was far more than in any of my previous journeys. I was far enough into Wonderland that the other side wasn't even in reach. Then the complacency trap hit. I loved that recent podcast. I listened to where you quoted the dictionary.com and the definition of complacency, basically being comfortable enough to slip up without totally owning it. Slowly but surely, the weight was coming back on. 15 pounds, in fact. Life was rough. Between work stress and family stress, I was doubting my ability to really get back on track. And here I am, and it's June. I still haven't busted out of the trap. So I decided I better sit my butt down and get all this in writing. If I don't identify with my whys, there's no breaking through it. So, here it is. Number 1, I'm an athlete, damn it. I've run 2 half marathons in the past 3 months, a dozen in the past 10 years. But that marathon photo does not look like an athlete. It still looks like a chubby mom who doesn't know what she's doing. So why number 1 is I want to look like the athlete that I am. Number 2, I have a beautiful daughter who is just about to turn 4. I grew up watching my mom struggle with her weight and get frustrated when looking in the mirror. That weighed on me as a kid. I don't want my girl to see me do the same. I want my girl to see the strong, confident, smart mom that I am and that she deserves. So why number 2 is to set an example for my girl. Number 3, cancer. The ugly word that haunts my family. Every woman on my mom's side of the family has died of cancer. I lost my mom when she was 41. She lost her mom when her mom was 50, and so on. I'm 40. My mom was 40 when she was diagnosed. I will do everything in my power to keep that ugly disease at bay. So why number 3 is to stave off cancer with every fiber of my being. Number 4, heart disease. Heart disease is the number 1 killer of women, and for some odd reason, ever since having a baby, my blood pressure has been consistently quite high. Even with my net loss of 50 pounds right now, my blood pressure hasn't budged. So much like the cancer, it's time I put my health in my hands. Why number 4 is to reduce my blood pressure by reaching goal. Number 5, I'm a bit ashamed to say it, but fashion is a big player. I recall you saying the word fashion from a previous podcast in a humorous tone. I love clothes. I love style trends, only age-appropriate ones. I love feeling not just good about my body, but about my outfit. I also don't want to feel limited in my options. I want to wear skirts, shorts, and tank tops without feeling limited to sitting in certain positions. So with a bit of hesitation, why number 5 is fashion. Done. I finally put it into words. It only took 10 years. Time to put complacency behind me. Time to get it done with focus and determination. Time to believe. Time to know that goal is attainable. That's probably one of the hardest parts. Time to build the lifetime habits that will facilitate not just reaching goal, but maintaining goal. My apologies for the lengthy email. Actually, no, I'm not sorry. It actually had to be done. Thank you, and I wish you good focus. Danielle, that email right there is powerful. There is a lot of hurt that I read in your email, and there is a lot of strength that it took to get it done. So I'm gonna walk through here with you. You're doing absolutely fantastic work. The fact that you recognize that you've hit the complacency trap is absolutely huge. That is the number one reason that many of us give up on this journey, is that we feel like we are at our goal weight. We feel like we're at the point where we're in our journey we're really happy, and we are happy. We've made some significant progress. We're doing really good on the plan. We feel good. We look good. But for many of us, we've never been at an ideal weight. So we don't truly know what that looks like. We certainly don't know what it feels like. So therefore, when we start getting close to that, when we start feeling better, we make the assumption that that is goal. And then we do exactly what you've done. You run a half marathon, you get the photo back, and you're disappointed. You were expecting to see this athlete, and in your scenario, you didn't see it. So that is what will power you. So you're doing amazing work. The fact that you can run a half marathon is phenomenal work. The fact that you're not satisfied means that you've recognized that you're breaking the complacency trap. Now, your beautiful daughter, that is a strong reason for her to see a strong, confident mom that you are, is very powerful. You're changing your entire family history. You're going out and you're putting everything that you have in your control. And last but not least, when you start coming off your blood pressure medicine and you've reached your goal weight, you can put on anything you want. You can go into any clothing store, you take it off the rack and it fits. It looks good. And you don't feel that shame and embarrassment of trying to find clothes that you're buying things just because they fit. You can actually kind of lean on some fashion trends, and you can kind of experiment with life, and everything you reach for in your closet fits. I'm telling you, that's an amazing feeling when you get to that point. So you're on the right path. Based on what I read in your email, I can sense very strongly that you're going to reach goal. And so what I want you to do with that email is I want you to, you've written it down, which is fantastic. I actually want you to take a second and write it down on paper with a pen or pencil. I want you to physically write it down and go a little deeper into what you've said. And I want you to refer to it quite often. The more you refer to it, the happier you're going to be. And then when you reach goal, I want you to write in and let me know. What I can see from your email is that you've reached goal mentally. Now let's get the scale to cooperate. Let's stick with it and let's get it done. Great work. Kristi writes in and she says, I was listening to the podcast that you had done with the Christian radio. While listening to that, I also had the radio on. They had an interview with a gal who was giving information about the Fold the Flag project in Minneapolis on July 4th. Man, God is always working. Thanks for your podcast. Kristi, you're right. That was God Stories Radio. They interviewed me. It was episode 124 of theirs. And, I refer to these as moments of synchronicity, as when the universe is aligning, and depending on what your beliefs are, whether you believe God is working in your world or whether you believe the universe is working in your favor, it doesn't matter what your beliefs are. What matters is there's an external force that's working here with us. And for me, that external force is that constant affirmation that I'm doing the right things, that I'm on the right path. And so the synchronicity in that is actually letting both of us know that we're on the right path. So thank you for your email. Along the same lines, Lynn writes in, says, Dear FatDag, I just started listening to you about 2 weeks ago on my walks and in the car. You are truly an inspirational and helping me regain my long-lost focus. Today, I was listening to your interview and you were talking about finding the penny, and it said, In God We Trust. Well, I just started reading this book, The Art of Healing by Bernie Siegel, and had just a few minutes to get a few pages in this afternoon. Page 26. When I find a penny, I always feel that I am on the right path. Engraved on each penny are the words, In God We Trust, which is a reminder for me to have faith, and the word liberty as a reminder to be my authentic self. I love synchronicity and the synchronicity of synchronicity. I am not a religious girl, but over the last 10 years I've found my way to spirituality through energy healing and metaphysics. I love the signs I get from the universe. This is my 5th time at Weight Watchers, and I've been sitting in meetings for the past year and a half without losing weight. I've lost and gained the same 5 to 7 pounds for a while, and then was gaining, staying the same, so I'm about 5 pounds from where I started. All this time looking for that missing puzzle piece. I finally realized yesterday that it's not about that. I am creating my puzzle pieces and finding more and more pieces to help me reach my goal. I just have to keep going until I get there. I also realized that I think loneliness may have been a part of my weight problem as a child, among other things which I'm slowly uncovering, and being overweight can be lonely. That feeds into the cycle. Thanks for helping me keep my focus and your inspiration. I can't wait to write you again when I am closer to goal. Thank you for taking the time to read this. Keep on doing what you're doing, Lynn. Well, Lynn, how cool is that? So here we are. Again, it goes back into, I'm that guy, and when I find a penny, just like Bernie says, is that that's my little internal cue to just kind of take a pause. I pick up every penny that I walk past. And I pick them up and I read it. It says, "In God we trust," and it just kind of reminds me that I'm on that right path. As you were listening to that, as you were hearing that, and that aligned into your journey, and you read that chapter in the book, that moment of synchronicity was for you and I to understand that the path that we're on, we are on the right path together. We deserve to be working this journey together. I'm honored to be walking the journey with you, and that affirmation lets us know that we're on the right path. So your 5th time doing this, I get that. It took me 5 times to lose the weight as well. And you're now gaining and losing the same 5 pounds over and over again. So here's where we got to go. We've got to get you to focus. We've got to get you to focus on your why. We have the affirmation that what you're doing is important. You have the affirmation based on the synchronicity that what you're doing needs to get done and that you're doing the right steps, that you are heading in the right direction. Now we just got to focus on a little deeper into why you're doing it, and let's focus harder to get it done. You absolutely have the ability to get there. The universe is on your side. The universe is working with you. Let's not work against it. Let's get it done. Susan writes in, says, "Hi, I love your podcast. I listened to the special episode from the Christian podcast on my way to work yesterday. That is a sign of how much I enjoy listening to you. I am not a Christian, but I wanted to hear what you had to say. I kept looking around for 23s after you talked about that number, but I didn't see any. On my way home, a car almost backed into me. Its license plate said 23 cast. I mean, what does that even mean? 23 cast? To me, it meant Wise Advice Podcast. Then on my way home today, I was thinking about how I forgot to send you this email last night, and a car with a 23 in the license plate pulled out in front of me just as I was thinking of it. I just wanted to share that with you. I hit my 5%, and I am grateful for your support, Susan." Well, Susan, first off, let's attack this. 5% is phenomenal work. 5% is proof that you're working the plan, that you know how to work the plan, that the tools that we've given you to work this plan are working. When you hit 5%, it is the first indication that you have the ability to get this job done. So you hit 5%, then soon comes 10%. If you've hit 5%, you can hit 10%. If you've hit 10%, you can hit goal. So congratulations early on hitting goal. Let's get the scale to catch up with that. And then now let's talk about the 23. You're right, 23 is my number. No matter where I look, I can see the version or some form of the number 23. It reminds me that I'm on the right journey. Now I use that to keep my focus. I use that to stay mindful to the process. There are days when I get discouraged and I forget, what I'm doing and why I'm trying to do this. And invariably, every time that happens, something comes in and it reminds me. I'll get an email that comes in at 9:23 in the morning. I'll pull up the show downloads. It'll be something 23. That 23 is that mental trigger. It's that mental anchor for me that says, no, refocus. You're on the right path. So whatever number you pick, whatever number resonates in your life, the 23 is the one that happens to work for me. But I put it on Connect a while ago. I want people to to pick a number of something that means something to them and look for that. And use that anchor to remind you that what you're doing is working, and that is your sign to continue on. It's to break that mental barrier and say, no, I actually can do this. I'm on the right path. I'm getting it done. So, Susan, thank you for your email. Keep on the lookout for 23s. They are everywhere, and they mean quite a bit. Last up, Jen writes and says, hi, Mike. It sounds like the event on the 23rd went very well. My daughter came running in the house saying, you got a card from FatDag. Well, indeed I did. You really didn't have to do that, but it made my whole day for sure. Speaking of the number 23, May 23rd was my 19th wedding anniversary, and it is indeed a special number. Sincere thanks and hope that you have a wonderful weekend, Jen. Well, Jen, in your reference to Operation FatDag, where I asked for you guys to send in letters and cards as I would speak to military members, and I would let them know that we believed in them, that they had the ability to get this done. They're in a place that I am very familiar with. They're in the process of failing PT tests for the military and about to be kicked out of the military, and we have an opportunity to come in and rescue them and let them know that we believe in them. And so I asked for cards, and then in return, I jotted out a thank you note to you guys to let you know that I truly appreciated what you've done. So if you go to FatDag.com, you click on the event tab, you will see the next 3 speaking engagements I have for Operation FatDag. So the address is always in the show notes. It's always on FatDag.com. By all means, send in your cards, your letters of encouragement. I will deliver your message of hope, of inspiration to these members of the military as I speak to them and let them know that other people believe in them, that they have the ability to get this done, just like we have the ability to get this done. They need to know that people believe in them. So go ahead and thank you for that. Jen, you're very welcome. It's very cool that your anniversary is on the 23rd. As we just talked about, 23 is my special number. So again, a constant reminder that you and I are on this journey together, and I'm honored to walk this journey with you. So that's going to do it. We'll kind of wrap up here like we do all the time. If we're always on Facebook. I try and do the show on Facebook Live. I put the show out on YouTube for those of you who aren't on Facebook. But I want to know what it is you're celebrating. It seems like the last handful of emails got tons of questions, which is fantastic work. But I know you're doing work. I know you have the celebrations to share. Let's hear from you. If you got 5%, you got 10%, you hit your goal weight. Let's go to FatDag.com. Click on Listen Now. Send in your celebrations. Send those comments and your questions. I'll work them in as part of the show. But that's going to do it for this time. Remember, losing weight and getting healthy has nothing to do with luck. You have to remain disciplined and focused. Set your sights on your goal and go after it. I wish you good focus. All right, cool. There we go. So now let's go back to the beginning. In the middle, I think I saw one pop in real quick. Terry asked, "What's the number? What is the 23 reference?" It's a number, Terry, that I see all the time in my journey. Oftentimes I pull up emails, I pull up things, and they end in 23, and it's just a mental focus for me to stay focused on what it is I'm trying to do. So, let's see. All right, so let's go back here. Diane says hi. Becky says hi. Linda had too many snack points today. That happens. So as long as you track them, and then we work tomorrow and say let's do less. So if we had, and I'm a big proponent is we want to work on the blue dots, but for some of us that blue dots is a little out of range. We have to get a little more clarity on our journey. So if we're overeating still and we're snacking too much, let's say a typical day, find out whatever number you track today, because it's important to track. And let's say you track today. Today's an 85-point day. Let's just say, I don't know. Then tomorrow, let's work on making it a 70-point day. The next day, let's work on making it a 60-point day. Then let's make it a 50-point day. And at some point, let's make it a blue dot day. So you're in this journey for life. So let's slowly adjust our habits to get to where we need to be to make goal. So, Susan, you missed the beginning. Well, hello. Have a good night. Hopefully you're still here. Catherine said, "Had a sweet tooth today. Almost gave in until I scanned it. The tasty cake honey bun was 30 points. Yeah, that's a whole meal that's a whole day's worth of food for me. So, so good job scanning it ahead of time. That's the key. It's when you scan it ahead of time, you know, and then you can choose if you want it or not. And in your case, you chose not to. So great work." Susan says, "Hey, thanks." Wendy, enjoyed the show tonight. Thank you, Wendy. Appreciate that. Denise is off of the treadmill. They're very good. Walking into Whole Foods with the hubby, listening. That is so fun. So cool. Thank you, Denise, for tuning in. I always appreciate that. Margaret, thank you. Diane, thank you. Thank you. Terry, hello. Yeah, so Sandra, it's on, if you have my app, it's in the app. But if not, go to godstoriesradio.com, and it's episode 124 on God Stories Radio. I don't know if it's on fatdag.com. Let me look here real quick and see. Let's go to, it is episode, okay, so for me, it's a bonus episode in my podcast. So I will put a link on Facebook is what I'll try and do. Try to get the link out there. It's probably on there, but the easiest way to find it is go to God Stories Radio Podcast, episode 124, and I talked about it there. So you certainly can find it. Easy enough to find with a little bit of technical skills, but it's also on, it's not in the app, but it's on, I guess it's on Facebook. So yeah, if it's in the app, you'll find it in the app. So very cool. Cool. All right. So, and so for you, it'll be between episodes 55 and 56 is where you can find it. So very cool. So between 55 and 56 is a bonus episode. So Jane, thank you. Again, honored to do the podcast. You know, it's really, you know, you have no idea. I can't even describe this for you. You know, I think of it often. You know, I don't know where I would have been if it wasn't for Connect. And so for you guys believing in me. And so I truly, more than anything, I don't want to be at goal alone. I want you to reach your goal with me. I want you to know you have the ability to get to goal. I want you to know that it's possible. I want you to know that you can completely change your life. And I want you to know that when you make up your mind for real to completely change your eating habits, and I'm not talking about having you know, the difference between going on a diet and suppressing some foods. I'm talking about completely changing your life so that you can change your life. I want you to know that is possible. I also want you to know that it's absolutely worth it. More than anything, it is worth it. And so the reason that I do this podcast is because I figured that out because of you guys. I figured it out because of Connect. I figured it out because people who believed in me kept me going. And without all of that, my life would be completely different right now. So I do this because I want you to join me. I want you to know it's possible, and I want you to join me here. So that is that's what drives me right now. That is what keeps me going, is that I want you to join me here. So thank you for being here and being a part of it. So, all right, looks like we made it all the way to the bottom of your comments. Unless nothing else pops in, we'll go ahead and sign off here. But if you got anything, let me know real quickly. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. Like I said, I'll put this out on, it'll go to YouTube, so it's available on YouTube. It'll go to, it goes to SoundCloud, goes to Stitcher Radio, goes to iHeartRadio, goes to iTunes, goes to FatDag.com, goes to Twitter, goes to Facebook. So you can listen to it no matter where you're at. It's available. But more than anything, here's where we are, right? This journey takes absolute focus. Every meal, every time you sit down to eat, ask yourself, would I rather have this or would I rather make goal? Would I rather have this or would I rather have goal? Would I rather have this or would I rather be in control? If you ask yourself those questions honestly, you will almost always choose goal. You will almost always choose health. You will almost always choose being in control. If you choose those three things more often than the other, you'll get it done. It takes focus, it takes dedication, it takes discipline, but you have the ability to get it done. So I wish you good focus. Have a good night.